I feel being an entrepreneur, you have to get really comfortable with failure and just know that not everything is going to work out. So I think just getting comfortable and viewing things as trial and error, that just try things. If it fails, you learn from it. And as a saying, to fail fast, I think that's really important too. Don't waste your time.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Inspiring Entrepreneurs. I'm Katie Woods, Ecosystem Development Executive at Strathclyde Inspire, and today I'm thrilled to welcome an entrepreneur and inspiring alumna of the University of Strathclyde, Chloe Carmichael of Chloe's Deal Club. If the rising cost of living has prompted you to search for ways to make your budget go further, then you may know Chloe as a renowned money influencer and TV presenter who has a passion for finding the best deals. Chloe has appeared on television shows like This Morning and was recently honoured as Money Influencer of the Year at the British Bank Awards. Today, we're going to be talking about what influenced Chloe to set up her company, how her degree in product design and innovation at Strathclyde set her up for success, barriers that exist for female entrepreneurs, her biggest setback, her lovely golden retriever Poppy also is mentioned, the importance of trusting your intuition, and her top tips for getting the best deals. So, thank you for joining me, Chloe, today, and congratulations as well on your recent award win. You must be so chuffed about that.
Thank you very much. I am absolutely delighted. It just feels like such an achievement after 5 years to have that recognition, and it's such a huge awards event as well. So yeah.
And do you want to give a bit of background, firstly about yourself, but then also how you came to win the award for the British?
Yeah, absolutely. So I run Chloe's Deal Club, where I have an online social media and email community where I help them save money just with small everyday things that they can be doing just to make their money go further. So how to save money on groceries, save money on holidays, how to save money on your favourite beauty products. So just those small everyday wins that actually really add up to quite a lot over the months and over the years as well. So I started this purely as a hobby 5 years ago. I'm amazed I've been able to stick to it. I've been a bit of a serial side hustler, but I always get bored of things after a few months. Like I feel I've tried everything, but this is the one that stuck, and it's just such a rewarding job what I do. I love being able to make a difference to people's lives, and yeah, here we are 5 years later. I've got a community of over 150,000, which blows my mind. And then I recently won the Money Influencer of the Year award at the British Bank Awards.
And what was it like going down to London and then receiving that award? Like, how did you feel?
It was so good. As I was saying to you before we started recording this, I work from home and I work on my own. So it's so nice just being able to get out the house and go somewhere different. And I love having that flexibility as well of running my own business and being able to do that. But yeah, it was just so good to be able to meet other finance creators in person, meet some of the brands that I work with as well. So it's always good just to do something different, and yeah, it's a night out I'll always remember as well.
Brilliant. Good chance to get dressed up as well. Definitely. Which is always nice.
Definitely.
And happens less, I feel, after COVID. So yeah, that is good. Well, thank you so much. That's so interesting. And just tell us a little bit more then, and I know we spoke about it just before we started recording, but what kind of led you to your career in money influencing, and how are you so passionate about it? Like, where does that passion come from?
Yeah, so it definitely comes from my dad. He always had to find the best possible deals, and he was in a position where he didn't need to be doing that. He just, from what he'd been through in life, he just really, really valued money and knew that those small savings still really mattered. So I remember when I was a kid, like we'd be going out to a restaurant, or even if we're going shopping, he'd go into a high street shop and get to the front of the queue and ask for a discount. And I'm talking like Topman, Burton's, like just shops that you just don't try haggling. But he would always get the discount, and we'd be standing outside like, oh, he's doing it again. This is so embarrassing. Or like before Groupon, Voucher, all those voucher sites were a thing. Like he'd be cutting out bits out of the newspaper, like printing vouchers online and turn up to restaurants with them, because he just got such a kick out of saving money. But I never understood it until between school and uni. I had a couple of years and I was working in a call centre, and I went shopping every single day off because it was the first time I'd ever earned a full-time salary. And I can't remember what shop I was in, but I noticed that something was on sale, then I could get an extra 20% off. And there was just like a nice little deal stack there that there was just something that clicked to me. I was like, hang on, like, why would I pay 100% of that when I could probably only pay 80%? So just from there, I've just always liked to spend a few minutes trying to find the best deal. And yeah, I just started Instagram one day, literally a random Sunday 5 years ago, was just like, oh, I'll just do this, just post the deals I find. If it helps anyone, then great. If it doesn't, I'll give it up in a few weeks. And yeah, it just grew from there. It's just been such an amazing reaction. And as we were saying with the cost of living crisis, I think when I first started this, people wouldn't go to the effort that they will now to try save money. They'd be like, well, that's not worth an effort to save £10. Whereas I feel people do value that now, because that £10 does actually make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, and like you said earlier as well, it's about like making those small savings and then putting that money towards something like a holiday.
Yes.
Or something that you would be saving for, you know, over time, and building that up as well. So I think that's a really nice thing as well, that this kind of passion came from your dad. And I think that's a lovely thing. And my dad as well always taught me that it's the easiest thing in the world to spend money, but it's hard to make money because you have to work hard in order to make money, of course. But I love that that's like where this passion came from. And like you said it up 5 years ago, hoping if you helped even one or two people, that was you doing well. And now your following, you said, is like over 150,000.
Yeah.
Like that is massive. So the impact you're having is amazing and brilliant. So keep doing what you're doing. It's very helpful. And so you studied product design and innovation here at Strathclyde University. Did you feel that this course gave you tools or anything to set you up for your success that you're having today?
Yeah, definitely. There was, whilst I've not gone and had a career in product design after it, I feel like I learned so much from that course that I can transfer to all the jobs I've had. So when I left uni, I actually got a job in graphic design, although it was more of kind of like a graphic design marketing role. And it was because of what I'd learned in my courses with having to design our folios and all that, I had a good eye for it. And then that led into e-commerce and then digital marketing and social media. So it's all kind of gone from there. But I feel that the main thing that I learned is problem solving. So obviously with product design, you never get it right first time. You have to have all your different prototypes, and there's just all these challenges that constantly come up. So I feel that's made me very comfortable with failure as well. That there's quite a lot of lessons I've learned along the way with that as well. So I find that the problem solving and also the innovation side as well. So the entrepreneurship lectures that we had, although they probably weren't my favourite lectures at the time, I actually find that they're so valuable to what I'm doing now. It's just that's something that's really helped me be able to navigate this journey and have more confidence in it too.
That's really, really good to hear. And a big part of like obviously entrepreneurship is around that problem solving and also building resilience as well. So that is brilliant to hear. So Strathclyde was the first university in Scotland to have an institution-wide entrepreneurship strategy that aims to drive economic and social benefits through innovation and having an entrepreneurial mindset. So that's like the resilience side things, problem solving, etc. How important do you believe it is to include entrepreneurial principles in the curriculum at every course across our university?
I think it's really, really important. I mean, I personally think everyone should be doing something entrepreneurial or be looking at doing their own business. I just think we only live once, and just go and try it. You never know what it could lead to, even if it's just something that you do on the sides. But I've always been very entrepreneurial from a young age, even when like I'd first decided that I would really love a dog when I was a kid. Like I would go around and like sell things to people to then save up money to buy her toys and a collar and a lead. So I've just always liked finding different ways to make money. And just like doing that was also helping people as well. So I feel it's really, really important to be including that. When I was in school, I remember we would have like the careers classes, and I remember saying at one point, oh, like I want to start a kennels and I want to franchise it across the UK, and they were like, absolutely not, you're going to go be a doctor, a lawyer, accountant. But that just wasn't something that appealed to me. I was then like, oh, maybe I want to be a chef, and then I'll open restaurants across the world. So it's interesting that in school I found it was very quashed being an entrepreneur, and it's no, you're going to pick a career. That's going to be your career for life. You're going to go study it, and that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Whereas I feel when you get to uni, there's so much creativity and potential in your ideas and encouraged, that I think that's something that should also, I think, be done from a younger age. But I think even if your first taste of that is at uni, I think it's absolutely something that should be offered to all courses.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. And I think it's really interesting as well, because school was very like that for me too. However, I do hope with the new entrepreneurial campus paper that's been published, they're kind of working towards changing that kind of like mindset in school that you've got to go into being a doctor, lawyer, accountant, whatever it might be. And hopefully we're going to see that change start to kind of like influence from a younger age and have a ripple on effect, you know, throughout generations, which is going to be very good for all aspects of entrepreneurship and just success as well for people. So how did your time as a student at Scotland's leading entrepreneurial campus shape your career path? And were there any specific courses or lectures or lecturers that had a significant impact on you that you can remember and maybe share?
So the one that always stands out to me when I think of how that was really nurtured in uni was I'm not sure if he's still at the uni, but there's a lecturer called Jose, and I can't remember the class. I think it might have just been like an innovation class. And we were all given a product, whether it was like a company had asked for help with it, or whether it was one of the lecturers had an idea, and then we had to figure out how we would market the product or ways we'd improve it, like the packaging and all that. And it turned out it was actually one of the lecturer's products that he was trying to get crowdfunded. So it was like a stopper to put on the handlebars of your bike so you don't like mark all your walls, your bike doesn't fall down. It was such a good idea. I actually don't know where that project ever went. But I think it's different when you're reading about case studies and how that whole journey goes. But I think it's had such an impact actually having the physical product, and this was a product that was trying to get brought to market at that time. It's just something that's always stuck out to me. It was just such a cool project to do. And then I also remember an alumni came in, I think she's called Victoria, I think, and she was making knee pads for electricians and plumbers. And again, just hearing how her whole journey had gone from, I think that was her final year project, and I'm sure it was like someone in her family was having issues with that, so she wanted to design a product to help it, and then I'm sure she received investment funding and went on to produce them. So it's just seeing those actual real life examples just had such an impact that I wouldn't have had access to that. Like I hadn't had access to that at any point throughout my life so far. So yeah, it was just that's the two that always stuck in my head.
That's so good, and that's so interesting as well, because that's Vicky Hamilton,
yes,
who's one of our Inspire supporters, and it was the recoil knee pads.
Yes,
and I believe Vicky is doing very, very well still, and works at the university as well. And we work with her, and she supports the entrepreneurs that are like up and coming,
amazing,
through the accelerator. So yeah, shout out to Vicky.
Yeah, definitely,
absolutely. And then leading on from that, this question leads on nicely actually. What do you think some of the main barriers are to women kind of getting started as entrepreneurs, and how could they overcome any of those barriers as well?
So I remember reading, I wish I could remember what the stat was. I remember reading a stat before that the amount of investment funding that goes to women CEOs versus men, it's such a tiny, tiny percent. So I think there's still a lot of work to do for women to be taken seriously. Like, is that sort of the right way to say that? That I feel it's still very, very behind in that sense. And even when you hear companies being like, oh, it's a female CEO or it's a woman CEO, I'm like, well, she's just a CEO.
Yeah.
It does not matter what someone's gender is. That shouldn't make it any more or less of a special case. So I think there's a lot that still needs to be done to improve support of women and really encourage that as well. There's a whole other thing that you can go into as well, that there's the gender gap as well. Even if a woman decides to have a child, that instantly it's less money going into the pension pot by taking maternity leave, or they only go back to work part-time, or they have to give up their job. So I think there's just so much work that needs to be done across the board to be able to support women better, to actually be able to go and try the things that they want to try and also be taken seriously too.
Yeah, I think that's like a brilliant answer, and you summed it up well. I think from the Pathways report, it was like 2% of investment goes to female-led companies,
It's
and it's
tiny.
just so small. So we at Strathclyde are going to be joining the second cohort of the Pathways pledges, and we've just been kind of consulting with some of our female entrepreneurs recently on that. So hopefully we're taking steps in the right direction. But I do agree with you, still a long way to go. In kind of achieving those goals.
Yeah.
And also this leads on very nicely as well, that every successful entrepreneur experiences failure. It's just part of it in some shape or form. So we talk very often here at Strathclyde about the importance of having resilience. And can you just share with us, and kind of hopefully this will inspire our listeners, like your biggest setback and what you took away from that experience, what you learned and how you managed to overcome it as well?
Yeah, so this must be back in about 2020. I launched a membership, and there's always, for anyone else who is interested in social media or currently works in social media, you'll know that you don't own your social media platform, so it's very risky to rely on all your income coming from social media, because I could go log into my Instagram just now and it's gone. Or so there's always such a risk there. So I've always been conscious of trying to diversify income. So I launched a membership and I kept it on for 2 years. And it is so hard running a membership, just the constant having to deliver the content all the time. It's just on your shoulders, that it's just constantly churning out content for that. And I decided after 2 years, it just wasn't viable. It was just making me feel really stressed out. I wasn't enjoying doing it. It was a chore, that I closed it. And although I felt relief, I felt like it was such a setback, because I'd spent so long building that up, invested so much time into it, invested money into it, to then have to just close it and that's it, done and dusted. And I also feel like I probably wouldn't ever try a membership in another capacity again. But I also feel by closing it, it freed up so much of my time to allow me to be able to really focus on other areas that it was such a good decision, because those areas of my business have done really, really well now. So although I feel being an entrepreneur, you have to get really comfortable with failure and just know that not everything is going to work out. Like I was seeing other companies that were offering memberships, and they seemed to be flying. They had thousands and thousands of subscribers, and I couldn't understand why I was struggling with it so much. But it's also just that not everything is going to be right for every business. You need to just try different things. And especially in social media, it's so much trial and error with how many changes there are constantly. And I know it will be the same in other industries too. There's constantly changes. So I think just getting comfortable in viewing things as trial and error, that just try things. If it fails, you learn from it. And as a saying, to fail fast, I think that's really important too. Don't waste your time me potentially leaving that for 2 years. I think I probably maybe could have closed it after a year and kind of potentially been a year further ahead. But it's just learning from that. So since then, I've learned to make decisions quicker, which ultimately impacts your business quicker as well.
So that also sounds like, you trust your gut as well, and trust your own intuition with yourself. You knew that wasn't working for you, and you then went on and became so successful like in other ways. So I think that's like an important lesson as well. Would you agree?
100%. I overthought that decision for so long, and when I finally made the decision, it was actually a really easy decision to make. But again, I just had that fear around making a mistake around that, but I knew deep down it was the right decision, and it's allowed me to sort of lean into my intuition much more and just trust my gut. And worst case, you make a decision, it doesn't work out, and you just go try something else.
Yeah, and that is part of the resilience piece, isn't it? About bouncing back as well. So thinking, we've talked about the past, we've talked about current, thinking into the future. What is next for you? Are there any kind of like projects or goals you have coming up that you're really excited about that you'd like to share?
So my main thing just now is I've just launched my website. So I previously had it on a different platform. So I've moved that over and taken my website in a totally different direction. So I want to build that up as a blog and the go-to destination for people to save money, make money, find deals at their favourite shops. So really just a one-stop shop for that. And then also YouTube is next on my list. I've been saying this for years that I want to do YouTube, but I'm finally going to commit to it. I feel I've really nailed my short form content and my newsletter, and I just feel like I'm ready just to try a different type of content. Again, it's just going back to that trial and error. I'm going to try it. I'll probably give it about a year. If it works, then amazing. If I'm seeing growth in it, and worst case, it doesn't work, I've tried it, and then I know maybe just to put my time into something else instead. But yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes. I've done one video so far. So yeah, I would like to get into a consistent schedule of doing that weekly, and then hopefully build an amazing community on there, and then be able to reach even more people to help them save money.
So watch this space on that.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. I do have one question to ask. Will Poppy, your gorgeous golden retriever, make any appearance on YouTube?
She absolutely will. I feel like she's on my Instagram a lot, but I feel like I know not everyone. Well, I know we're all very biased about our own dogs. I obviously think she's the cutest dog in the world. I know you think that about yours too. So yeah, if it was up to me, I'd have her in every single video. She's just the best.
Well, that's a sure way to get me to watch, so I'm in. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. And I cannot let you go without learning your 3 best tips for saving money and getting the best deals right now.
Okay, so for saving money, before you buy anything, I want you to be price matching it. Now, you don't have to go and do all that work yourself. There's websites you can use, such as pricerunner.com. So you'll just go in and add in, you'll just go and search for the product that you're looking for. Say it's a particular perfume, for example, and then it'll show you all the retailers that they're aware of that have it for sale, so that you can see where is then the best price. So it's something that literally adds like a minute onto your shopping process, but you can be saving a decent amount of money with it. My second one would be to use cashback. I know so many people think cashback's a scam, but it is literally money back for things that you're buying anyway. I know having the name cash in it gets everyone a bit like, sounds too good to be true. But you can literally be saving hundreds, potentially even thousands each year just by, again, adding that extra process into your shopping habit. And the third would be to always use discount codes. Now, I don't know if you were like this years ago, but if you were searching for a discount code for Nike, for example, you'd go Google Nike discount code and have to look through all the different sites to find the best one. So there's actually a browser extension that you can get called Honey. And when you get to the checkout, it'll pop up and add on every single discount code it knows about. So again, I feel years ago, trying to save money on your shopping was actually quite hard, but there's so many tools out there that can automate our savings as well. And then I would also suggest that whenever you save money on a purchase, like if you were going to go buy a coat for £50 and you get it for £35 by doing cashback, price matching, like sales, whatever, put that £15 into your savings. So that's the only way that you're going to actually start to really value how much you are saving by these small everyday purchases, when by the end of the year you have enough in there to go on holiday, to be able to put more into a savings or an ISA or something. So definitely don't overlook the little savings.
Yeah, I think that was brilliant. Like you say, it's about shopping smarter, using all these tools that are actually available that weren't probably in your dad's day when he was cutting out. Like it was more like onerous as a task to save money. It is getting in the right direction of making it easier. It's more important than ever with the cost of living crisis. And what you're doing is just absolutely brilliant. You're helping people every day save money, and you can't ask for better or more than that. So thank you so much for your time today. Really, really love chatting to you. Make sure everyone follows at Chloe's Deal Club on the social channels. We'll link it as well. And thank you again, Chloe.
Thanks very much for having me.
And that's it for this episode of Inspiring Entrepreneurs. Thank you for joining us. And remember to hit that subscribe or follow button on whichever platform you're listening on. See you next time.